Man, we back again with this David and Celeste. I told you it's never ending. It's so much. It just keep happening. Every 10, 15 minutes, it's just something new. Let's see what he done did now. Like, what new done came about?
Footage that's been released by TMZ, which seemingly shows the final moments that Celeste was actually seen on camera. She was apparently walking away from her area in Lake Elsinore, and it is very ominous. Like, you see this girl, just this little girl walking down the street. You know, it's maybe nothing untoward, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, this is a solo little girl walking down the street. She shouldn't be doing that on her own, and it is a little bit chilling, and no doubt the authorities will be making use of this video. So this has been going around on all the different David subreddits. Celeste Rivas seen on security cam in Lake Elsinore before her disappearance, and they're claiming that this figure there is her. They're sharing a TMZ article where TMZ are working overtime on this situation. I'm not going to lie, TMZ have really got the work. They got the
You and TMZ.
And it's just incredible research and reporting that they're doing on the situation. So let's take a little look at the article, see what
so
TMZ
much
said.
is getting outrageous.
Celeste Rivas, last images of victim before disappearing from home. These have been published. These clips. So this is her walking down the street in Lake Elsinore. They point her out. That's her walking all by her own. She's kind of half jogging, half running away from the scene. Who knows if this is a situation where she's kind of snuck out of her family home. Maybe she knew that her parents would be looking for her, but she is getting away from where she's from, and we don't know what happened exactly after. Okay, from this footage, we're seeing her walking all the way down the street. She's walking onto a busy main road. She's kind of jogging to get further away quicker. All right, a lot of people running in the area for some reason, but she gets away from those people. Maybe she was running past those people to make sure they didn't see her identity. She's walking a bit slower on the street now, and she crossed paths with another person. But this is a busy road. It's a busy street. No doubt no number of people saw her walking by and probably didn't think it was anything untoward. But this is actually the last known confirmed footage that we have of her, at least in Lake Elsinore, in her area. And you know, maybe the outfit is going to be useful to the detectives trying to work out where she went. They might be able to cross-reference this to other surveillance cameras from the area. But this is a small town, so chances are the fact that this is a small town, you can see her just running a little bit faster there at the top of the frame. This is a small town. We don't know exactly how much surveillance footage there actually is installed. It's, you know, this isn't the heart of Los Angeles, Hollywood, or anything like that. This is her in her small town, in her local area. So the article says Celeste Rivas ran away from home multiple times in 2024, but it seems she didn't always disappear without a trace, because security camera footage captured one time that she left. TMZ has obtained a video from a liquor store just down the street from Celeste's family home, taken just after 7 a.m. on March the 19th, 2024 in Lake Elsinore, California, in which a person
So that was the last time she was seen on camera or in person?
Striding down the street. Another angle shows Rivas jogging around a corner, alternating between a walk and a run before disappearing from the frame. And they've actually got a little interview here with somebody that watched her grow up.
Tell me how this has really affected your emotions here.
It's in fact I have connection with all kids. Like I'm here for 11 years. I see this kids growing up in front of my eyes, and I have kids same age. It's hard for you see all this generation like lost by social media and all this. It's sad. It's burned my heart for her family, for her as a young girl. It's hard. She's beautiful, quiet, shy girl. It's not like from the wild girls. And I shocked when I find out first time when she ran away or missing. It's hard.
And you've been interfacing with her family in the years that she's been gone, right?
Yep. For when
so I don't think nobody tried to find her.
Here, asked me, and we start looking at the camera to find out where she go and if we can find anything to get her back. It's hard. It's hard for all the neighborhoods.
And these images that we've looked at, they're from over a year ago. This is the first time she ran away.
The second time.
Oh, the second time she.
Second time after they bring her back. Second time in March 19, I think.
So this ain't the first time she ran away.
Her sister coming here to. I said for a couple of days, check the camera till we find out exactly when she ran away.
He said this has really been the talk of Lake Elsinore, that everyone's heart is broken.
Yep. Even like last Friday, I cannot take it no more. I go grab my daughter from the school for like emotional. It's like burn me inside, and I have my daughter older than her 1 year. Like it's hard. It's very hard.
Do you have any thoughts about what may have happened?
No, but for my opinion is two things. First, this generation lost by social media. Second, the law in California, they take the right from us as a parents to raise our kids. The right from us and the right from the teachers too. For the teacher is second parents for the kids, and nothing we can do as a parents or as a teacher. For that, the kids learning from the street, from the social media, and they get lost.
And you were saying
Nah,
your
some
camera
of the kids don't be
shows
getting
her
lost.
walking down the street?
Yes.
Just
Walking down the street this
social
way.
media throw so much stuff at you. You don't know what to
Fields when you
believe,
have the
what
other
not to
street. I
believe.
think Mount Vernon, the street name.
So that was the gentleman that owns the liquor store, and he kind of pointed everything out exactly as it happened, pointing down exactly where we saw that footage first. So it says that L.A. Nadath, owner of Delago Spirits in Lake Elsinore, told us Celeste's sister came to the liquor store on March the 19th and asked to review the surveillance footage to see if Celeste had run away. The sister said that the person in the video was indeed Celeste. Nadav says that he gave the footage to Rivas' family in the hopes it would help them find her, and this was the second time Celeste ran away from home. We know that she ran away in January 2024 and was returned home after police found her in Hollywood. Celeste wasn't a wild girl by any means. Eli says,
So
and
she
he
been
never
trying to
heard
run
about any
away.
trouble at home, though law enforcement sources told us Rivas kept running away because of a troubled home. Ali says that he often saw Celeste come into his store to buy soda, chips, and gum. Police are still investigating Celeste's disappearance and her connection to David, the singer who owned the car in which Celeste's body was found. And we obtained a photo showing David less than a mile from Rivas' home in Lake Elsinore, and then they recap on this post where her teacher told classmates a bunch of stuff about what he thought had gone on. So let's look at some of the comments related to this new footage that's come out and see what people are kind of thinking of it. I've got a few other Reddit posts where they talk about her and this footage coming out. People are saying, this poor little girl. When we are young, we think we have it all figured out. I put myself in her shoes. Like when I was in my teens, I also talked with people online, and we really did not have any sense of danger. Now that I'm in my 30s, I look back, and it's insane how naive we can be, yet we think we can have it all figured out. I put myself in her shoes. When you think you're in love with someone who's a famous star, rich, and if you come from a broken home, you might think this person is your savior, yet here is the end result. Somebody says, exactly, AOL chat rooms were full of crazies, and I stupidly gave someone my home address, and he drove 3 hours to park outside my house and never went I never went outside. He eventually left, but I had to watch my back for months, and I never told my mother.
3 hours outside
Somebody's
somebody's house is ridiculous.
Facebook when I was 14 came to give me a gift.
I ain't
Came
waiting
out,
3
I
hours
just so happy to
nowhere.
my dog, and the guy freaked the hell out. Probably saved me looking back. Someone says, I agree. This case made me
I ain't
think
even
back to my
finna wait in
teens
front of
when I was
my
lucky
own
I didn't
house
get
for
in
3
something
hours
bad.
for nothing.
I remember being online with and friends
Definitely
with a guy
ain't
who was in
finna
his
do it
20s
for
or 30s
nobody.
via an online game that
That's
we were
not
playing.
happening.
He was in another country, but in hindsight, it was weird. I stopped playing the game
That's
and made
definitely
friends
not
my
happening.
age. Today's internet is even scarier. I wouldn't have known anywhere to find P-word. I was definitely naive to the dangers of everything. This person says, something worthwhile to note. The footage was taken at 7 a.m. on March the 19th, 2024. That was a Tuesday, i.e. a school day. The first bell for middle schoolers at 7 a.m. reference Elsinore Middle School bell and lunch schedule. I don't know if she walked to school or took the bus, but it seems like she used getting to school as a cover for running away. And yes, her family released that info previously. She didn't make it to school, and this is one of the times when they went looking for her. Somebody says that is absolutely
So
chilling.
basically,
It looks
long
like
as she was going to
texting
school, y'all
the
was cool
person
with her
who was
running
potentially
away?
picking her up and running between texts to get to the pickup spot. Someone said she could also be running to get away from her home ASAP before she noticed they left. Someone says that sucks. She shouldn't have to be going anywhere to be picked up. She should be picked up from the front door of her home. Bastard was making her do sketchy things. That's crazy. I mean, he shouldn't be picking her up at all, frankly. Oh, this dude is toast if they're able to find footage from this long ago on a random street. People saying for real. I don't know why this is so sad. Her whole life is just so fast-paced. That's not what a 14-year-old girl is supposed to be doing. Period. That's a whole baby, man. 14 years ain't nothing. I seen my uncle take his own LIFE at 14, and goddamn, I was nothing but a baby. He'd been through it, dragged through it, essentially. So sad. Someone says, am I seeing things, or is she essentially wearing the same outfit she's wearing in the backstage video with David's brother? Pink pants and a black hoodie. The pants kind of look white in most of this, but in one shot they look pink to me, if it's even her. People saying, I thought the same thing. Now that's very interesting. I didn't even think about whether that could actually be the same outfit and whether she would have gone to a show. So this is another, you know, this is just a re-upload of that same footage. To be honest, I don't know if you can see close enough to see whether those are the pink pants from the backstage video. So this is that footage of her walking backstage with the pink pants and a hoodie, and I guess you could say that there's some similarities.
I'm just saying, it went on
I don't
for
think it's
so
clear
long.
enough to fully make it out, because this is a lot
And
more
y'all
grainy,
didn't,
and I would
like,
say this
stop
is
it.
less saturated. Like the colors kind of are more bold
Y'all didn't get her no
in
type
the
of help or nothing.
this
Y'all
backstage
just
video
kept
where you
letting
can see
her
the
run
outfit,
away.
but it is light colored pants and a black hoodie, so that does kind of line up, to be honest with you. I think that's pretty crazy, but then again, it's not really that surprising. If she ran away with one set of clothes, David's given her hand-me-downs, like there might not be that many other pairs of clothes that she might be wearing. It says that poor child, also the parents did such a sloppy job parenting, she deserved better guidance and counseling. It says, growing up, the only people I ever heard of running away live with their grandmother due to toxic parents or live with their irresponsible and neglectful parents. Parents that weren't around to give them much attention or teach them not to talk to strangers online. It's never been your atypical loving household. She needed more guidance, especially from her brother and or friends, some time to tell how messed up this is.
She needed guidance from anybody that was older than her that was going to tell her right.
Group and started talking to an older guy and ran away. Cops did nothing. I did all my online chatting at the library, lying, saying I had essays to write. My mom would be right across the room sometimes. We really have no idea how her home life was, but to be making generalized statements like this does a disservice to anybody. People saying, is that the parking lot where the pic of David was taken of him giving the money? Now that's interesting. I don't know if that is the parking lot.
It
I don't think
probably
we can
is.
really. I don't think it looks like that parking lot personally, but if somebody has proof of that, I would be interested to see it.
There's a lot of sketchy
This is
stuff
my question: is
going
if
on.
she disappeared last year, why is it being released now? Is this footage the authorities already knew about last year and did nothing, or maybe they knew she left by her own feet, and since she's been disappearing and then going back, didn't take it seriously, or is this something new? Because if that's the case, poor baby, nobody cared for her. It says her demeanor is panicked, nervous, or excited. Nobody who's just walking to school or the store of a friend's house randomly starts running or jogging like that. She looks like she's going to someone or something, or getting away from someone or something. Okay, so people have been reposting
Or
this
she was
footage
trying to
into
hurry
various
up and
David
get to
subreddits and trying to break it
something
down,
or
trying to get to the bottom
someone.
of it, trying to find out what's going on. But it all sourced from TMZ. TMZ are the people putting these clips out there in earnest to begin with, right? This says, yes, in early 2024, this is barely relevant, yet TMZ didn't
Shout out
think to
to
ask the friends they
TMZ
supposedly
for the
talked to recently when
clips.
she was last seen. I usually hold TMZ in high regards when it comes to credibility because they do have inside sources and pay a lot of money for info, but they're really starting to milk this story and look bad. Yeah, this is the same info they released before when they talked to the store owner a bit back. This is just the footage of what they told us, nothing new. People saying, why are they releasing this footage now? I'm guessing this was before her 2024 disappearance, right? People saying, but these images don't change much, or does it? People saying it changes nothing, and TMZ are baiting.
It really
People saying
don't
it is important
change
because it
nothing.
adds credibility to what the store owner had said prior, and it also helps build an accurate timeline of her movements. So whether we already knew it or not, this footage proves what was being said. It says they're just trying to maintain engagement while waiting for new leads or impactful revelations. It says, yep, if they don't post anything about it, then people will riot that Celeste is being forgotten and the cover-up is working. Now, I think that's a good point. I don't want to hate on TMZ because I think they're actually doing very good reporting on this. Now, whether or not you want to say people are exploiting this, they're making money, they're making videos about it. Look, I'm making videos about this because it's a story in the public interest. My job is to make videos about what's going on in pop culture, whether it's rap music, in this case, pop R&B
thing
music,
I'm doing.
the crimes that are going on behind the music. That's always what's been the case. That's what I do. And I'm just jumping on here giving you guys updates every day. TMZ are giving you the best updates they can. But I think that comment made a good point, which is, you know, when we're making a bunch of videos about this stuff, people want to say you're exploiting it, you're milking it. But at the end of the day, this is in the public domain. This is a story in the
It's
public
news.
interest. It's very
We
important.
don't-
And exactly as this person said in that comment, if we stop talking about it, if I move on to a bunch of other stuff and don't mention it when new bits of information come out, then they're going to...
Well, we do reaction videos and talk about stuff. It's just stuff already out there. We give y'all our reaction to the information that's already provided, that's already in the world on the internet. Stuff we finding that you may not know about.
be saying it's a cover-up. They're going to be saying you're not talking about it. David's just out here getting on with his life, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's holding him to account for the weird things that people have been discovering. So I do think it's important to keep covering these things and keep talking about it. Like, it's my channel. I can talk about whatever I want. But I think the really important thing is you've got a guy like David who has made millions of dollars releasing music that seemingly had all these weird hidden connections and metaphors for what was really going on. And if anybody should be held account, I've always said it when it comes to the gangster rappers. People say, oh, you shouldn't talk about the drill, the gangster rap, the violence that's going on around the music, you're exploiting it. But really, the people that are making the music are arguably exploiting it the most, whether they're actually committing crimes and then rapping about it and profiting. They're the ones that make those crimes happen. We're just 2 steps behind, trying to understand what's going on in the public interest. So it's not just about, you know, milking it and trying to just put out as much content about the situation. It's about raising awareness. It's about keeping the story alive, keeping this in front of people's minds, and really warning people, warning kids, letting this be a lesson to kids not to talk to these weird guys that you meet online. Be careful when it comes to who you're speaking to. Look out for these warning signs. You know, whether it's your younger siblings, whether it could be your niece, your daughter, your sister, any of these people. I think it's important to talk about this. I saw somebody comment on my last video about how much money David had made since this situation. They said, how much money have you made? Well, 0 bodies have been found in my car. I haven't hurt anybody. I'm a peaceful person. I'm not on any of this weird stuff that you're seeing in all of these videos, and I think it's just important to like keep raising awareness and keep this topic at the top of people's mind. I really don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, CNN will make 1 million videos about the war in Gaza, Israel, Palestine, you know, the war in Ukraine, any tragedies, you know, natural disasters, all of these things, because they're in the public interest, and it's to raise awareness. So I don't personally any of these negative comments like that. I think some outlets are more trustworthy than others.
Post I put myself up there as somebody that's on YouTube. I try and do good research, but I'm really just talking about the topics that are floating around. So anyway, that's just my little defense to that, but shout out to TMZ. This says, the fact that she left without bags seemed to show how common this was. She probably already had clothes at David's house. If the family knows she's in a relationship with a famous older singer, what's the point of her running away from home and coming back? And it says there's a lot of people saying this is irrelevant, but it helps establish what law enforcement calls a pattern of life. Google can explain it better than I can, but basically it can be used to show her normal versus abnormal movements, to help narrow down when and where she could have been expected to be found. These kinds of things will help determine when she passed away. Why do they show us this, but not the person who drove to a busy road, parked a car and left it? They should have CCTV video evidence of the individual parking and getting out the car. People saying because that's the real evidence that only the LAPD would have. People saying extremely weird how she was always covering up herself. She's dressed like... Yeah, they probably do already got the video footage. If they got the car?
Okay, maybe not. You're from my point of view. Okay, but how is this irrelevant? They're doing everything but arresting David. Right? It says, again, leaves more questions than answers, like where's she going?
They got the car. They definitely got the video footage. So they definitely know who did it.
I thought she was last seen wearing black leggings. How old is this footage?
I'm
curious where she would stay when they would go and break up. Do you think she could have been trafficked from Lake Elsinore? There was a mention of that. Someone letting her mother know they saw Celeste with a group of other kids. Could she be running from that to what she thought would be a safer place with David? She probably thought at the very least she would be taken care of financially. So sad, we need answers. He was saying it's relevant because the police wants to understand her home life.
Nobody knows what's going on with her.
If y'all watch Snapped or any murder case show or even a YouTube documentary on open cases, the police tell a story of the victims. They get an understanding of who they are, their patterns, and where everything takes a turn. But not everyone disagrees. This person says this doesn't help the case at all. An old video of her running away amounts to what? This wasn't even from the last instance when she ran away, to my understanding, so this is totally pointless, if I'm being honest. I don't think it's pointless, but the relevance of it, everybody's looking for a smoking gun, everybody's looking for that big reveal, and ultimately it's not here yet, okay? So we already saw in the TMZ article that somebody's reposted this saying that Celeste's sister did confirm that that was her in the video, but a lot of people are arguing that this doesn't matter. Now, I do find it a little bit interesting and suspicious that people are so heavily, a lot of commenters, so heavily pushing like this doesn't matter. Everything matters at this stage. Everything's important. Everything's relevant. Like, this could matter. I mean, this is literally a video of her potentially running away from home, and if this happened multiple times, it might give insights as to when it happened again. But somebody says, I may be ignorant, but why does this matter? This is footage from 2024. We all know that she was with David at the time. The only reason of why she would disappear, it's because her family didn't give a F and because she liked more David's house than her own. I agree with you, although this makes me question how the police found her in
just
Hollywood.
kept running off with him because he
Why
was
is some
rich.
of this video so blurry, and how do we know this is actually her? On the first switch of the camera, when she's walking by the busy road with cars passing, on her left she gets to what looks like a corner, maybe, and then disappears and reappears like she walked into a spot with a blurry mess. Don't know what that means. Blurry mess, maybe. Then it gets cut off to the next camera angle. The last camera angle above is blurry, even half of her body, but why? Now, while we're on the topic of, you know, the ethics, I was reaching for the right word then. While we're on the topic of the ethics of TMZ doing so many posts on this, as I covered in a previous video, there's been a lot of debate back and forth as to whether the body had actually been cut up or dismembered, as some people have been saying. And essentially what I think is really interesting is that despite comments on Reddit stating that, you know, there was no... Well, there was official news articles that said that the body was dismembered, like KTLA 5 and the Los Angeles Times. But people are saying there's been no official announcement from the police that the body was cut up or dismembered. But people are saying that TMZ is actually sticking to that narrative. They're posting a few different clips that have been floating around, and TMZ is sticking with that. TMZ is saying, no, that is what happened.
Not reconcile somebody, going to the trouble. I mean, if you're gonna, why cut up the body if you're gonna leave it in your car?
Exactly.
Wouldn't you just put the body in your car if you want to get caught? What's the cutting up part?
Now, what about, like, at the beginning of his tour, him staging a funeral with, like, a casket? What do you say to that?
I don't
That's
know.
suspicious.
There's stuff we have not put together here. And that's one of the things I've learned in this job, is that sometimes things don't go into a nice, neat little package. And there is something we don't know about this case that I think the LAPD does. And also, we're going to know a lot, aren't we, when
They know
the
a
Tesla
lot
video,
if they got the
video,
car.
Goes to the LAPD if
They
it's not
got
there
the
already.
video
Because
footage.
if we can see who is putting that body in the trunk, that's going to tell us a lot, right? If we can see the house, because remember, the house was owned by a guy out of state, and when he started leasing it, we told you, he surrendered the right to access to his security cameras and gave them to his tenants. So his tenants didn't think he was spying on them. So the LAPD is going to probably have to subpoena the security video, which they can do, and they can then evaluate who's coming and going with something taken out of the house. So I think the video that we haven't seen is going to tell us a lot.
So that's a
They
really
need
interesting
all
point
the
that's being
video
made, and it
footage.
honestly wouldn't surprise me if those videos had either been erased or deactivated, especially if the murder did take place in the house. But a lot of people are commenting on the way
No, they
TMZ
erased.
in,
That's
handling
just
this
somebody
case.
covering
It says,
some
dude is
stuff
itching
up.
to spill the beans on something. I wonder what word they got. All right, and he's suggesting the LAPD have probably seen something we haven't. All right, this says he's itching from his cocaine addiction. Wait a minute, what? Harvey Levin is 75 years old. You're joking. It says he looks pretty good for someone with a coke addiction. He's 75 years old. Not
Okay. Y'all saying that man age, they don't got nothing to do with nothing. They don't got nothing to do with nothing at all. But he's 75. They go, oh, this motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't know he was that old, but that don't got nothing to do with what's going on right now.
kidding. I thought he was 50. I'm not gonna lie. I kept seeing pictures of him and thinking like, damn, he looking kind of old. Like he looking kind of old, but I'm thinking he's like 50. He's looking a bit weathered for a 50-year-old. But actually, come to find out, if he's 75, what the hell? He looks great. He looks fantastic for 75. My lord, that's insane. He's actually 75.
Yeah, if he's
Can't believe it.
75, he look
That is
alright.
Anyway, when murderers dismember a body, it's usually out of necessity to move, hide, or dispose of remains. Whoever did this was confident that they would have more time to get the body out the car, or that whatever they'd done to the body would not release an odor before a certain time frame. But then people are arguing she wasn't dismembered. Then other people are clapping back saying we don't know for sure yet. But if we go with what's been reported so far, then she may well have been dismembered. However, we also know that when a body has been decomposing for a long time, it can disarticulate itself. Either way, whoever did this seemed to believe, or at least had the confidence, that the body would not be discovered for a long while because of what they had done to it, namely wrapping it in something that they thought would block the odor, which supports the rapid decomposition theories. I will say, I'm watching the live every time they say David, they get super.
I don't even get the cutting up, putting the body in
it's
the
so positive
like,
that the Tesla
why they
is
leave the
instant
car? They
automatic.
could
If
have
I had
just
to
burnt
guess,
it
I would
up.
guess under 30% of Teslas even use this option because it drains the battery so fast. A lot of Tesla drivers turn off anything that drains the battery so
you
they
trying
don't
to
have
get
to sit
rid of
around charging. I'm not certain, but I do
Wasn't that
believe
what
he
he-
likely had a
what you
Tesla
would've did,
charger at
though?
home because it was a rented place. If you have a charger at home and don't commute an insane drive every day, then yes, keep that Sentry mode on. You can charge at home. But most people don't have a charger at home and don't like to sit at charging stations forever. Now, there's been more posts on Reddit just going over whether TMZ is being honest about this dismemberment angle. It says, how credible are the sources who say Celeste was
I don't know why they would dismember. Like, why ain't just burn the body or burn the truck with the body in it inside? I mean, that's what most people would have did. Not me. I'm not. I don't indulge in stuff like that. All I do is just sit back and react to videos. But I don't know. It's like they wanted to get caught because this is like I'm gonna leave the car in public. You know what I'm saying? It's like he wanted to get caught, or whoever wanted to get caught.
dismembered. I've seen outlets like TMZ referring to her body as chopped up and dismembered, and somewhere along the lines I had seen apparently it was only her head and torso that were discovered. But if that were the case, how were they able to describe that she was wearing leggings? And somebody says, my sister and I were talking about this earlier. We had to agree that the news outlets just repeat what's told, and it's like telephone. Important to get a first source, not a first, second, or third. Agree. I've only seen it from certain publications who can't source it from anywhere else. It seems like one plucked it out of the air and many others ran with it. The weight declared by the police also hints at not being all there. It's possible that the clothes were there, but not the whole body. At the same time, I don't know how much weight can be lost due to decomposition, but what a horrible tragedy all around. And then it says, a private investigator on Twitter had said her limbs may have detached due to the composition and the decay of her connective tissue. And yes, we don't know how much weight is lost during decomposition, and we also don't know if she still was a similar weight at the time of the death as she was when she disappeared. It says, yes, the 71 pounds that the police recorded is almost exactly the estimate for a 120-pound first person, her former weight minus the weight of their limbs. So there may be no weight lost from decomposition since her remains were inside a plastic bag. God, this is so effed up.
So where the rest
now,
of her at that?
all of the major news organizations, including TMZ, are saying she was dismembered. These news outlets are major because they are reliable and they hold themselves to higher standards and accuracy of reporting. However, I watched something last night where a host asked a former death investigator for Fulton County the specifics of the language being used. At 10:26, he confirms that the police do not throw the term dismembered out there loosely. So if the body wasn't actually dismembered, then it's going to come down to the investigators misspeaking. Let's take a look at that.
Hey, everyone.
It was at 10:26 apparently. So let's see what he said.
Oh, they do not throw around the term dismemberment without specific evidence of that. You're going to have tool marks here.
Okay. With the decomposition.
So, I mean, that was pretty straightforward, right? He said that basically, there would be tool marks. They don't throw around the term dismembered properly often. I can't talk today, I'm tired. Essentially, they would have said it if that was the case by the sounds of things. But more and more people are just pointing out how TMZ are running with this angle, okay?
So who put the angle out there that she was
TMZ
dismembered?
is still reporting the body is dismembered, confirming the girl in the stream clip from weeks ago was Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And they're essentially saying that they're sticking with that angle. It says there's no mention of an odor emanating from the car, as we know a strong smell later prompted a search of the vehicle in the Hollywood tow yard where it ended up, where Celeste's dismembered and decomposed body was found in the front trunk. So they were saying that, and it has been said even more. Some people have posted this. They've been incorrectly posting what type of car it is, but that's not really that interesting. It says it's almost as if they stand by their reporting and believe their sources. It was speculated that the dismemberment source was coming from an unreliable source, but TMZ might have got the information from a trustworthy place, or it's just bad journalism. We'll see. I trust Court TV more, and they're saying it as well. But people are saying they're agreeing with TMZ or agreeing with the source that was unreliable. But apparently Court TV has their own sources, and they deal a lot more with the legal aspect. They're not a gossip platform. For a celebrity gossip platform, TMZ has sources in the LAPD. They've broken news of celebrity deaths before any other outlet because their inside sources tip them off. Yep, TMZ past few years has stepped it up a notch in terms of reporting quality, but I don't know why people keep acting like it's not reliable. It says they have sources. KTLA, citing the Los Angeles Times, claims she was dismembered.
They do be right a whole lot of times, like 9 out of 10.
Found inside the bag in Tesla's trunk. I can't find the LA Times article that mentions this dismemberment though, and the remains found can not have only been a head and torso since they identified her hand tattoo. The New York Post claims dismemberment in a number of articles, but none of the sources they link to
that
mention
is
it.
true.
They
So
state that the
she
authorities
couldn't
said that
lose
the
her
remains weren't
limbs if they
intact.
talking about the tattoo
This is
on her
kind of saying,
hands
so
and
maybe
all
they
that.
knew what pants she was wearing because the clothes were still there. I'm saying I didn't know they confirmed it was her in a video. Which one was it? The live stream.
See, it's just
anyway,
getting crazy. It's just
now,
getting too...
this is just another thing I want to touch on since we're talking about that video of her running away. Now, this has been an interesting thing. So apparently, Celeste's family allegedly contacted Josh Marshall, who was David's manager, in 2024 after Celeste first disappeared. Celeste then came home within 24 hours of this. So let's see. This is another video, 5310. Let's see what they had to say.
That's like somebody knowing.
So let's see.
Anything away?
But I can tell you, it wasn't just
like
Josh. It was like.
Can you reintroduce what it is, just for people who might have just been joining? What this is?
So when she went missing in 2024, some of her friends and family knew, like they knew about David or whatever, and somebody. So there's like a language barrier with the mom does not speak English and the dad is not in the country, and so somebody was helping them. Somebody that's very close to the family and like Elsinore and knows all of them, and wrote a letter kind of on their behalf. And it was an email letter. It was sent to Josh and a family member of Josh and some other people, and basically said, we know that she's with him. I don't think they knew the address at the time, but they knew she's with him, and that they included the missing persons flyer. She's a missing person. She's at 12 or 13 at that time, and the next I think it was the next day or the day after she showed up. She just showed up back home.
How did these people know Josh but not David?
It was an adult. It was an adult that just did.
A family friend of Celeste.
Somebody if you're trying to get a hold of David, I guess you could, and you have any knowledge of the industry and stuff, you could be like, okay, I can look up who his manager is and contact his manager.
So you think these people, these friends of Celeste or family friends, they knew of David, they knew he was a singer, they didn't know how to get in touch with him, but they knew enough to Google possibly his manager, so they retrieve Josh Marshall's email just as strangers saying, hey, we think she's with your client or whatever, and then the next day she shows up back home?
They actually dug a little bit deeper into that and find out a little bit more about his personal life and people around Josh. So again, I don't want to give up. It would give up the person if they don't want to be given up. But but the thing is, she showed up within 24 hours or so. So then about a month later, she split again.
Oh yeah, they knew what was going on.
I mean, so Josh is going to be sitting right next to David in this cell, allegedly, if.
Josh is going to go down on this, I think, and again, it's shocking. I understand Interscope's probably like, nobody say anything, including David. But if I was Josh trying to save my career, I'd be like, I want to get out in front of this. I get what a defense attorney is going to say. I get what the defense attorney is going to say, and I understand why. But I'm talking about the court of public opinion, not the. You got to if you're balancing both because you're a public figure. It's like, okay, and I know that's every defense attorney is going to be like, nope, I don't care about your career.
Yeah.
Out of prison, but the silence is deafening in this case. Nobody from his camp has said a word.
Wait, how did that go under the radar for so long? I guess I'm confused also because and somebody just asked this.
So he's basically saying that David's manager could be going down along with David. This guy, Josh Marshall. Marshall was apparently contacted out of the blue by the family of Celeste saying, look, this is a missing person. Here's the poster. This is a minor. We need her back. And then Celeste miraculously appears within 24 hours. Now, everybody on Reddit is reacting to this too. So
that's not a coincidence. Right?
Her mother doesn't speak English very well. Man, this whole situation is really sad. It seems like he took advantage of this family's vulnerability to abuse Celeste without getting caught. People just saying this is crazy. They sent an image of her missing poster to him as well. He must have known how old she was. Oh yeah, he for sure knew. Like they said in the video, these Hollywood managers know every aspect of their clients' lives. Someone says for sure. It's so sad. He didn't care when she was in school, and she gave up her entire life for him. Someone says, I hope everyone who's accusing her family of not giving an F about her sees this. We know nothing about their situation yet, so it got to a point where everyone was suggesting her sister peed her out, and her family was getting paid monthly by him, which sounds ridiculous, by the way. And some people even started going to her family members' Facebooks
But you
to
never
leave
know.
hateful messages. You just have to take a 2-minute scroll in those same Facebook pages
You
to
never
understand
know what
that there's
was
clearly a
going
language
on.
barrier. A 13-year-old girl was being kept away
That
from her
was a
family
lot of
by
information
PDF,
to ignore,
yet people
so-
choose to blame a single mother who can't speak English and might even be undocumented with zero evidence to back up any of their crazy theories. Her brother even said they told the police about David but were waved off due to lack of evidence. So even the police were informed and they didn't give an F, but once again people blame the family even though they have no clue of what her family did or didn't do in order to get her back. And I agree with that. I do think that people have been very unfair to the family in all of this, and they don't really deserve the hate that they're getting regardless. But I think this might well actually be the same video. This is actually the same video just being reposted, so we won't rewatch it, but it's another person noticing the same thing. It says, huge new information. Josh, the manager, knew that Celeste was underage and a missing person since her family contacted him directly by email.
Oh,
On this
so he
live,
going
the
to jail
person had
too?
access
Oh,
to
yeah.
information
Y'all
that there's
gonna
an
be
email
cellmates.
that was sent from Celeste's family.
Y'all
Her mother
gonna be
doesn't speak English, and her
cellmates,
dad's
and
not
then
in the
y'all
US.
gonna
So
end up
somebody
being
helped the
butt
mother write
buddies.
an email to Josh, the manager, directly, as well as other people in his management, informing that Celeste was a missing person, with the flyer attached, and informing that they knew she was with David, just did not know where she was. The next day is when she showed up back home. People saying, I call BS. They could have easily picked up the phone and called 911 unless the rumors are true about the mother being here illegally. Now, look, I do think that there's been undue hate towards
Somebody
the family.
here illegally.
With everything going on in the political climate, look, I'm really not trying to have an opinion on that because I be going to and from the US pretty frequently. And, you know, I've got an official visa. I'm good. Like, I'm, you know, documented. I don't know how they talk about these things, but, you know, people are getting targeted by immigration at the moment. There's a very tense climate in America right now, and you could understand if somebody's here, maybe not with the right papers, that they might not even want to contact the police. They might not even want to have contact with the police. Some communities, they don't rock with the police at all. Some people might be thinking, well, you know, this is a difficult. You can't give an opinion on that really unless you've really been in their shoes. I haven't been in their shoes, so it's hard to understand. You know, it could be a situation where they think, you know, maybe this is all he's gonna, you know, come back home and she's going to get over this and this David guy's going to move on and I don't want to get, you know, deported out of the country, then I can't even help my child. So I do have sympathy for the family, but as we've seen, man, so this is this final, you know, this one of the latest clips that we've seen come out publicly of her looking like she's running away from home, and the information that allegedly the manager was contacted about this in 2024 and this child was sent home within 24 hours of that happening. So I think that is really not good as far as it implicating the manager. If they can actually find that email, and
but
prove
the manager,
that, you know, they sent
knowing,
the missing poster proving that she was a minor to the manager and he knew this was going on, and then, you know, they send her back, but then before you know it, she's running away and she's back with David again. It's really not a good look. I've got a few new things I want to give you guys updates on today. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about this much more, but there have been new updates. I kind of thought everything was just fizzling out as far as the new information that's coming out, but there has been a few new pieces of information, including something to do with David's family, which I'm going to get into in another video. I'm also going to do a big update about all the new Young Thug music and drama and all the back and forths that have been going on, if you're interested in that. So I will be doing another video. I'm just here learning about things myself on Reddit, online, on news sources, and I'm just turning the things that I'm learning, the things that I'm interested following along. If I wasn't doing YouTube, I would be still nerding out on Reddit, on the news, looking at, keeping up with all these things. I'm just taking all the stuff that I found interesting and I'm telling it to you guys just as something fun to do. This is my job, all right? So don't hate on me. I'm just reporting along on a story in the public interest, and I, you know what I'm saying, ain't no, I ain't even gonna make a joke about it, but yeah, I'm not involved.
Yeah, see, it's just getting more and more crazier. So you see what's going on here. So I don't know. I'm just gonna keep y'all updated on what's going on, because it's obviously getting out of hand. But like, subscribe. Until next time, holla at you.